Welcome back down to the garage. I have the 2013 500e down here today, and there's a very good reason other than just exercising it once in a while. I have been working with a fellow over in Switzerland who makes a product that you are probably aware of if you own one of these vehicles, which is a replacement telematics device. So what that does and what that means is in your regular run-of-the-mill Fiat 500e, when this car was new and you leased it, you had an app that was given to you by Fiat Chrysler, and it interfaced with this module right here. This is a GSM transceiver, and it allowed the computer in the car to communicate with Fiat Chrysler's servers, and then in turn to your vehicle. The app lease is only good for 3 years, and they officially stopped supporting it not long ago. So everyone that has an off-lease one of these vehicles, which, I mean, let's be honest, is most of them at this point, if not, actually it's all of them. They stopped production of this vintage, I think about 3 years ago now, in 2017. You can't preheat your car, you can't manually unlock it with your phone, you can't precondition it, you can't, turn on the air conditioning before you get out to it in a hot summer's day in the middle of the day. You can't force it to turn on the battery heater and the climate heater half hour before you leave in the morning to save you the battery. That's been a huge problem. So what this guy in Sweden does, sorry, Switzerland, not Sweden. I know they're different places. He fabricated basically a clone of the device that is on the windshield in there that interfaces with the OBD2 port, and he sells it now. So the cost on this module is about $380, but it includes 1 year of cellular GSM coverage. He does have a Wi-Fi only Model 2, but I would strongly encourage you to just spend the extra money on the GSM one. And then it's $60 or $70 a year for the cellular service. If you think about it, that's only like $5 a month for cell. So that's actually pretty good. And again, if you live in a cold climate, that's really what this is for, in my opinion. 100% worth it, because not only does it make it way more comfortable in the morning, it also gives you significantly higher range because you're not powering the battery heater while you're driving as much. So it might genuinely save you 5 kilowatt hours on an 18 kilowatt hour usable pack. We're talking a serious uptick in range in the winter just by using this device. So the gist of what's in here, the actual module, since customs was already into this one, I'm going to open it up and we'll take a look inside. There's a zip tie here that is designed just to zip tie around the main harness under the dash. This plugs into your OBD2 port. This is a standard extension cable that's been cut and soldered into a custom PCB. And then we have a little, looks like GPS antenna here, and then a cellular antenna here as well. So the location of this one probably doesn't matter quite as much. Looks like a pretty beefy boy. This one really should be on your dash if you can. Not entirely critical, but get it somewhere where it has the best possible line of sight vision to the sky. There's also a little 3M adhesive disc down there. That is for the GPS transceiver. So before we put it in the 500e and I finish my monologue, let's open this thing up since, again, it was already opened up by customs. Let's see what's inside. Okay, so it looks like we have kind of an off-the-shelf CAN transceiver in there. This is for K-liner CAN for the car that interfaces with this custom my500e GPS board. Hard to say. This one looks like it's the cellular compute, and that one's probably GPS. I don't actually know for sure, but try to hold it still so you can at least see what kind of chips are on here. And it also has a micro USB on it, which is interesting. I'm not sure. That's probably just how you dump configuration. Oh, definitely cellular. Didn't even see that. Yeah, cool. Doesn't look like there's any chips on the back side of the board, so a pretty simple device. I'm guessing there is an ARM Cortex CPU or a system on chip ARM in there to process all of this data. But that's pretty cool. I dig it. So the actual install process on this shouldn't be too bad. The cords look like they're very well sized. I can actually see some light down in the dash here, so that should be good. This is an airbag, so you don't want to get too close to that. However, there's a lot of empty space right up under there. So what I'm going to do is install it, and then I'll show you what I did. But basically you're going to want to sort of start with the GPS antenna, probably place it right along here somewhere, and then feed that cable down. If you do need to move the door weather strip, very, very easy to do. You can just pull up and then push it back down when you're done. You're not doing any damage to it there. And then you might need a trim. Nope, you don't need a trim removal tool. You can just pull that and get the cable right up under there. Okay, so really this dash trim right here, just get your finger right there, pops right out. Should come off really easy. After that, first thing I did was fed the GPS receiver from here straight up through here. It's a tight fit, but push it. And then I stuck it down on the dash right there. As you can see, that will have excellent terrestrial GPS signal. Then I put the cell phone antenna right there on the body of the car, which should be actually a pretty good spot for reception. Rubber won't affect it. And we have a very noisy electric power steering motor right there, so I wanted to keep it away from that as much as I could. Pop that right back on. And, the OBD2 cable I fed through here, and then down and around. The reason why I did that, the cord's on the bottom, so if you fed it up, it won't look as good. I didn't want it to feed over top, so that's my main reasoning there. There we go. So hinge in on the top, press it in, and away you go. That's installed. That legitimately took 6 minutes. So guys, I'm having some trouble parked in certain areas with the cell reception. So I'm gonna move the antenna from here to here per the instructions, which I got after I installed the device, and we'll see if that improves it. Oh, good enough. The adhesive survived, and we'll see if that helps. So far, still a great device though. Preheating, being able to see the battery state of charge, and even scheduling charging or starting it manually, or even stopping it. It's really, really helpful in the cold weather. And as much as I hate vertical video, there's really nothing I can do to avoid it here. So this is what the app looks like. It's actually a WebLock redirect that you can make an icon on your phone for. It's able to pull a lot of data from the K-line or the CAN from the car. So it has your current odometer, it has your VIN, which actually you have to manually enter when you get the device. However, you can edit the charge timers in here. And when I say you can, I mean you actually have to. This will override anything you do on the cluster. But you can see at the bottom, you've got how long you want to preheat for, and then you can, of course, manually enable or disable on a whim. Here's what it looks like inside of the charge timer thing. This is much easier to manipulate than the cluster, and I do like the fact that, you know, it has 7 days of the week instead of just setting it, one size fits all, like weekday and weekend. The telemetry device does have a GPS antenna that you mount to the dash, and it is very accurate. This is something that I think it's only a 1 Hertz device, but that's more than plenty. You're never going to really check it while you're driving. I'm just running through the menus here again on VoiceOver just to kind of show you what you get with the higher end of the 2 packages. But really the biggest thing for me has been scheduling the preconditioning, scheduling charging, and then being able to preheat the car in the winter. That's been huge for me.